So welcome. If you don't know who I am, my name is Melissa. I am the owner and artist here at the Top Drawer RVA in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm also a Dixie Belle brand ambassador. I like to paint things, usually bold, wild, and crazy. This week I painted a step table from the 60s in hot pink and did a little hand painting on that to mimic Atomic Kitty. If you know what an Atomic Kitty is, stay tuned. I think I will be posting that video tomorrow on this page so you can see exactly what I did to it. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so let's base this video on a beginner painter. You went to a yard sale, like me. I go to the yard sales whenever I can. I'm actually really sad that since COVID, there doesn't seem to be as many yard sales as there used to be. Yard sale, estate sale, Goodwill, wherever you may find your fun and fancy furniture. And you found a dresser, okay? And you think, oh my gosh, this dresser is tiny. It's gonna be a good thing to start on. It's only 20 bucks. It's not that expensive. It's a $20 dresser. It's not terribly high quality. I'm not painting and ruining an antique. This is a dresser that is of basic craftsmanship, okay? It's literally, I'm gonna guess this is like a 1980s dresser, okay? I'm not painting an antique, I'm not devaluing anything, but I would if I wanted to, just so you know. I paint whatever I like. So, I've got my dresser, right? I just got this home from the yard sale and I'm like, wow, this is a really cool dresser. I'm super excited to paint. If you came home, took off the hardware, or even left them on, opened up a can of any paint, I don't care what brand you use, and started painting, you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a big problem because there's a couple things that you have to do that are necessary before paint. And we're gonna go over all of them today, all right? We're gonna be talking about power tools, cleaning, priming, like design choices, decision making, all the things. And I'm kind of far away from the camera so that everybody can see what I'm working on. So if you have a question and I miss it, drop it in. I'll come back in and answer it later. All right? So here's my dresser. 20 bucks at a yard sale. Let's open it up. That's the first thing I do. I bring the dresser inside. I put it up on wheels. This is my studio space. And I go, okay, first things first, I'm going to open and close all of the drawers. I already did this at the yard sale. But I would open and close all the drawers. And I would look at this and I would go, okay, do the drawers slide easily? Are there tracks missing inside of the drawers? Sometimes there's wood on wood glides. Sometimes there's wood tracks. Sometimes there's metal tracks. It all depends on the time frame from your piece of furniture. So I can look at this and I'm going to bring you in. All right, here, let's go for a little ride. Today's going to be a journey of like bringing the camera in and out so that we can learn all of the things. So one thing I notice when I look at this dresser, I can look down here and go, oh, I see that the wood is rubbing on wood. Can you see this little spot right here? That means when this drawer opens and closes, since interior on this piece, there's no drawer glide, the wood is rubbing on the wood. We're gonna talk about that first, okay? I'm gonna do all of the assessments and all of the things that I would do normally when I bring home a piece of furniture, all right? So I see, okay, there's wood on wood. Let's open this up and have a look at the drawers. Like I said, not a high quality piece. You can tell that the sides do not have dovetails. That's a key indicator that this is a manufactured piece, not too old and not high quality. If this was a beautiful high quality dresser, most likely on this part of your drawer where the drawer is attached, there would be something called dovetails, which is like a small little key that attaches your dresser to the sides of the drawer. But let me tell you, solid wood, pretty clean, not too bad. This is nothing that we can't clean up. I'm going to turn it around and look at what's on the bottom. There's your culprit right there, okay? So on the bottom of this drawer, you can see that there's no center glide. A lot of the times when you open and close a dresser, there's a center glide right here that allows this dresser, this would be like the female part of the dresser, and this would be the male part of the dresser, where you would insert this part of the slide onto the piece in the back. What does a drawer glide do? A drawer glide allows your dresser drawer to stay stationary, number one. So when you put it in and out, it's not going to go back and forth like this, all right? It's going to prevent that little bit that we talked about with the rubbing of the wood on wood. This is still functional. All the drawers are like this. It was made like this, okay? Like I said, not a high quality manufactured piece. So what are you going to do? Somebody would say to me, how are you going to fix that? Because if you paint here, what's going to happen is that your paint is going to rub off when you open and close the drawer, right? Let me show you. Like I said, this is a good tutorial for the baby beginners. On Amazon or yard sales or Restore, wherever you buy your things, I tend to buy them all over the place. I can't even tell you where I got this from. You can buy these little things, and I'm going to call it a doohickey because I legit don't know what this is called. It's a tiny little plastic piece with a nail on the bottom. Can you see how it has a little sharp tack on the bottom? This can also be fixed with a thumbtack. If you have a small metal thumbtack that has the nice like kind of curvature on the top of the thumbtack, if you pop in one of those thumbtacks, it's going to help this drawer glide not touch wood on wood so that when you paint, you're not going to damage your paint. But these little doohickeys right here do the same job, all right? So let's bring you in. We're gonna see, and you're gonna see my girl arms at work today, all right? We're gonna put this in. Now, remember I told you that this drawer itself has no glide in the middle? So it shifts back and forth. It's gonna shift back and forth. By inserting this little piece of plastic with a little nail right here in the corner, hopefully, fingers crossed, this is always trial and error on an old piece, that your drawer is going to sit on top of this plastic piece and it's not going to jiggle as much because it's going to be a little bit more supported right here. So let's see if I can, this is where I either hammer my finger, I hurt something, or I break something. So stay tuned. Also, not a real hammer. Do you know what this is? Listen, on these live videos, you get the real version of me. This is how I roll sometimes. A big giant man hammer is heavy. This is a bottle opener, but it also has a hammer on it, and it's small and it's tiny, and my girly arms can hold it. So there's a couple of ways to do this. So I don't bash my finger. I did bring over my little vice grip. I could hold this vice grip like this and hammer a little more adequately to at least get it started and in the hole so I don't jam my fingers off, right? Like tricks of the trade, tricks of the trade. Now you know, vice grips, tiny hammer equals success. Let's put this in. It's really like, it's hard to get stuff where it's gonna go and get it in strong. So now I've got my little plastic doohickey. Again, if you know what this is called, please drop in the comments below because I legit don't know the name of this. Would it have been nice if I would have Googled it before I started? Probably. Did that happen? Never. All right, let's go over to this side. So now we've inserted one tiny plastic drawer glide. So that when I insert my drawer, it's going to sit on top. It's also going to brace it from the side so that the drawer is going to stay more stationary and not wobble back and forth, okay? So let's move on to this side of the dresser. Again, with my vice grips. Also, these vice grips, can I tell you a secret about them? You can put a screw in here and squish this really hard and it's gonna cut your screw so that you can shorten your screws and not have them stick out too far in the back. What? Genius, honestly. These things I didn't know when I started painting furniture that I wish I would have known would have saved me a lot of time and effort. So get yourself a pair of vice grips that have the little nodule in the middle. Again, don't know the real name of it. I'm trying to teach y'all something, but I sound kind of like an idiot because I don't know the technical names because I don't have to. I make things up as I go along and I do what works, right? Like little tiny hammers that are actually not hammers. They are what? Bottle openers. So I'm going to put this one over here, okay? I'm going to hold it here. I'm going to push it against the side. I can see on the side of this dresser, somebody already put a thumbtack. This thumbtack is over here to try and stop that dresser from wobbly wobbly back and forth with that drawer. Thank you, vice grips, for saving my fingers. And is there a better way to do this? Probably. Do I care? Nope, because that's what I do. This is the real video. Okay, so now we've inserted two of my plastic little doohickeys that help my drawer stay even because it's going to provide an even tighter fit side to side, as well as the bottom to make sure that my drawer will glide better. Now here is the moment of truth because I'm going to put the drawer back in. It might not work. not gonna lie, this works 9 times out of 10, but if the fit was too tight, my drawer is not going to go in well. So shall we see? Let's aim you up so you get the proper version. All right, let's see. If this works, we're gonna move on to step number 2. So now this fit. It fit. Okay, so this drawer actually goes in a little far. You can see that there's about 1/4 of an inch around. I can add a tiny little block of wood at the back that will stop my drawer from going in any further than this. I did not bring a tiny block of wood in because that is going to require measuring, and I didn't do that. So I will do that after the video is over. But for proper fit, and I'm going to show you a little bit more from the side now, okay? For a proper fit, putting that wood block in the back is going to stop the drawer from pushing in this far and leaving you with this gap. You can see when the drawer is in this far, my tiny little doohickeys. But when the drawer is the proper dimensions, like the proper straight flush with the dresser, you can't see my little plastic nodules. And that's going to help me stop my drawer from wood on wood gliding. Again, no idea where I got these from. Probably a thrift store, a restore somewhere, but you can find these, I'm sure, on Amazon if you know the proper name to Google, which is not doohickey. And if I think about it, you know, I'll Google image search it after I'm finished. It's a basic little L bracket in plastic made with the nail on the bottom. Also, handy dandy tip of the day, I have, with scissors, cut off the sides of these so that I only have the base of these when I don't need the side action for support, if that makes sense. Or if the drawer is too tight, you can cut this with scissors, and that's going to allow you to just have a piece like this that you can hammer down, that your drawers can glide on. All right? Again, winning prize if you know the name of this thing for reals. It's probably something really simple, like drawer slide, drawer glide, plastic slide. It is what it is. So that would be the first thing that I would do when I come home and look at this piece. So now my drawer is going to open and shut. If you feel like you want it to slide a little further, a little better, a little more less tacky, you can use something called Mama's Butter. Big Mama's Butter is a salve that smells, number one, delicioso. This one smells like orange. It's my favorite. And all you would need to do is take out your drawer, because remember, this is wood on wood glides. It's going to get a little thirsty. I would normally apply this with a brush. I don't have a brush handy, so let's just put it on with some napkin that was on the floor. So I would take my Orange Grove, which smells really nice, and rub the edges where the wood is going to touch the other part of the wood, okay? It's as simple as that. And then when you put this in, your drawer actually is going to slide a little looser, right? It's just a lubricant for your drawers. So minus the little block that I would put at the back of the dresser that I would literally just nail gun in, this is how I would prepare every single drawer on this piece, because they're all the same and I want them to be nice and smooth and open easily. Like I said, not a highly valued piece. This is just a really kind of, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody made this, but this is going to solve your problem of, hey, when I paint, my paint comes off every time I open the drawers because of the wood on wood glide. Those little doohickeys are going to help you with that problem. How's that for some teaching knowledge today? Second, after I assess and fix those drawers, I would look at this dresser. Now, here's the deal. The camera's not low enough, but I'm going to show you. I would assess this dresser and go, okay, when I picked this up, because this dresser is actually that light that I could pick this up on my own, there's a small gap between where the top of the dresser sits onto the base of the dresser. You could hammer it down. I find that doesn't work. You know why? Most likely this top has actually warped and has a small curvature. So to stop it from moving, we're going to talk about power tools. Who likes power tools? Did you know that for the first 5 years of my painting career, I was afraid of power tools? And for the only reason that I Number one, find them heavy and a little scary. This is my nail gun. Dun, dun, dun. Don't be afraid of nail guns. YouTube has everything that you ever need to learn how to work anything. And there's a safety latch on majority of these tools that keeps you safe from chopping off your fingers or nail gunning yourself. So right now this is unlocked. Let's lock it back up. You can simply Google how to open, can't tell which side is which, open and close your nails. I buy these at Lowe's or Home Depot. These are the longer ones. I also have shorter ones. I use this nail gun all the time now. So once you put your nails in, you lock it up, you unlock your safety trigger. If I push this, nothing should happen because this part needs to be pushed down and engaged. You probably already know this, but listen, I was a beginner baby painter sometime too, and these things like freaked me out. Don't be scared. Everything is trial and error. The worst case that could happen is I make a fool of myself on a live video. So because this top has been bowed a tiny bit, there is a small space right here. When I picked up this dresser, I mostly picked it up from the top piece here, and I could feel a wiggle, okay? So to stop wiggling, I always nail gun my joints if there's a wiggle. I will also turn this piece around and nail gun the back as well. That is going to help support this dresser. And if you felt like this dresser was actually shifting side to side with a wiggle, you could add a new back and use the same nail gun to secure a new back onto your base, and it would stop the wiggle 100%. So I'm gonna look at this. Normally I would obviously not be in front of the camera, and I could kind of bend my head down. I'm gonna look and eyeball it. I go, okay, that's about where this part meets the top. I'm gonna hold my gun. I'm gonna give it a shot. That's just gonna help me secure. I'm gonna do a couple. Come on, right there. That's gonna help me secure the top to the base. All of a sudden, it doesn't move like it did because of that small little wiggle. Yes, I made a tiny little divot on the top where the nail sits. I plan on using mud, Dixie Belle's mud, to fill in those holes, and you won't see. And now that this is a little bit more secure, I know that my dresser is not going to wiggle when somebody picks it up. All right, safety first. Let's put the lock back on my gun. Yay, girl power. You know what? I feel insanely impressed about myself and tools. I have so far this year used saws that I've never used before. I use my nail gun all the time. It's the simple things. It's the little things in life that make me happy. Okay, so we've brought our dresser home. Pretend I've fixed all of my drawer glides. Pretend that I have put little blocks in the back so that my drawer now sits exactly flush to the front. I've nail gunned this top that was loose and wiggly down to the base. This side is not wiggly, it was just this side, all right? I'm gonna put these in the ground along with my fancy hammer. Not a real hammer, it's a bottle opener. Okay, let me just spread this out so we can see. All right, so what is the next step? Well, after I've assessed my piece, done my repairs, I can fill these holes with mud after because I need to clean first and assess what I'm going to do. I need to obviously take the hardware off. So this hardware is nothing fancy. I actually think that I might keep it for this piece. Why? Why would you keep that kind of ugly hardware? Well, because this dresser cost me $20, okay? And if I have to put in, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 new pieces of hardware, that can get kind of expensive sometimes, right? I mean, 8 pieces of hardware, if you go high end, can be pricey. So my most likely vision for this little piece, watch, I won't be able to get these off. Oh, I can get it off. My vision for this little piece is, it's small, it's tiny, it's not high quality. I should keep the hardware, right? It's functional, it's ceramic, it's cute. In my head, I automatically think, what does this hardware lean towards for like a design choice? Because if I'm gonna keep the hardware, it has to match what I think for this dresser. And since this dresser is going to just be whatever I want it to be, this is not a piece that belongs to anybody. It's not a custom piece. It's just fun for me. I'm going to look at this little hardware and think, this tells me, like, I feel like cottage-y, right? Like it's like a cottagey, girly feel to this hardware. So what I do next is go look at my papers. I go look at my papers and I go look at my transfers and I think, is there any new papers out there that I haven't used yet? And guess what? There is. There's papers out there that I haven't used. This is the Dainty Botanical. Have you seen this paper? I'm going to open it up because I don't like the shine from the camera. So this paper is in the last release. This is still fairly new and I have not used it yet. But when I look at this paper, this Dainty Botanical, okay, I have two. This is an A2 rice paper. This is one sheet of paper, 16.5 inches by 23.25, right? So when I look at this paper, I think, do I have enough to cover all of these drawers? I think the answer would be yes, because I can easily cut this paper in half. This is one piece of paper, second piece of paper, third and fourth. This is going to take more than one sheet of decoupage paper, okay? So now in my head, I think, okay, I've got paper that I want to use that will match these knobs, right? Because this is like a country style paper. I feel like it's soft, it's dainty, it's beautiful. Remember, I'm basing this off of the knobs because I don't want to spend extra money on hardware. I like this combo. I like this combo a lot. I think that this would be a good match. So what's the next step after you have kind of gone this far? Well, you're going to pick a color. On the floor, I grabbed a color. This color is called Ecru. It's not cream, it's not white, it's like a nice soft beige. Okay, so this soft beige color will be a great base to go under this paper because this paper is light. If I went dark, the paper will stay dark. If I go light, the paper will be light, okay? So now I go, okay, knobs, paper, paint color. This is a great combo. I'm liking this. This feels country chic. This is a doable option for this dresser. So now I have found a way to save all the hardware for this piece without having to buy new hardware, keeping the cost of this project low, because I don't know if you are a painter that is painting to keep or a painter that is painting to resell, but this piece was $20 at a yard sale. We know it's not a high value, well-constructed piece. It's fairly basic, right? It's fairly simple. Keeping the hardware is going to save me money. I can find a look to choose to match my design choices to go country style, to keep this kind of enamel hardware. And I think that will be a wonderful piece. Now, if you wanted to take a step further, you could find out a little bit about Woodubend, okay? So let's pretend this piece is being painted. I've added my paper and I wanted a little more flair. I want a little more zhuzh it up, right? We want to fancy pants it up. Woodubend is a wooden molding that Dixie Belle carries in exclusive line 4. All of these products are linked in the description. You can simply check them out. If you can't find them, send me a message and I can help you along the way. But Woodubends arrive rigid and hard. And when you heat them up on the back, they become bendable. So if you had a surface that was like a curved serpentine dresser, you could bend it to fit. But Woodubends are really fun jewelry for your piece of furniture. So in my head, I'm like, wow, I have a couple Woodubends. I could easily paint one of the Woodubends in the same tone as the dresser and put it on the top drawer just for a little bit of a fancier look. All these Woodubends come in a set of 2, but I kind of grabbed the ones that I thought might work for this piece. So this is an add-on that is not a necessity. It is definitely an extra, but it really takes your piece to the next level, that if you are somebody who's selling your work, you can ask for that little bit more money, because your piece just went from kind of basic, like if you just painted it this color with this knobs, is that fine? Sure. Adding a paper, is that better? Yes. Adding a Woodubend and taking it to the next level so that somebody looks at it and goes, wow, that's really fancy, like a one-of-a-kind piece. They're willing to pay the extra amount that might take you to the next level for your furniture painting journey. Or if you're just keeping it for yourself and you want to be fancy pants, go for it. I love Woodubend. So that is an option in your design element as well, okay? All right, so now that I've got my design choice down, I fixed my drawer, I removed my hardware, what's the next step for painting? Well, I know I have to clean my piece, right? We have 3 products at Dixie Belle, which is all I use. I'm a Dixie Belle brand ambassador, so I only use Dixie Belle paint products, okay? We have 3 lines of paint: Terra, Silk, and Chalk Mineral paint. Each paint line has something called White Lightning, Terra Clean, or Pristine Clean. All 3 products are exactly the same, okay? They're only packaged this way because certain retailers might only carry 1 paint line, and they want their paint line to match all the way across the board, and that's why we have Terra Clean, White Lightning, and Pristine Clean. If you see one at the shop and you think, oh, I can't buy that, Melissa said Terra Clean. No, she didn't. Buy whatever one you want because they're all exactly the same, okay? So what is this? You can actually buy this now in this bottle, which is amazing, but you can also buy it in a powder form that you mix up and add to your very own spray bottle to clean your furniture. This is a TSP-based cleanser that is going to remove dirt, remove oil, and also degloss your piece a little bit before paint. So how do you use this product? A couple different ways. How dirty is your piece? Where'd you get it from? I've had pieces that I've had to take the hose to before. This piece is clean. This was actually in a neighborhood yard sale, and I actually bought this from a sweet little girl and I gave her the $20. It's her dresser. She was selling it and she was so happy to get that 20 bucks. It was super cute. So if your piece is super dirty, like grimy dirty, you can't believe how dirty it is, I recommend getting the powder-based White Lightning to disperse into a bucket of warm water and a scrub brush or a sponge to loosen the grime. This isn't that dirty. The only way that I would clean this is to spray it, okay? Spray with White Lightning and wipe it down. This is going to remove any residual oil, any residual dirt, and sometimes you don't see that dirt on there. Sometimes you might not see it. This paper is a tiny bit yellow, not enough to make me think that this piece is terribly, terribly dirty. Also, off camera, I would take out these drawers, clean them inside, and also clean the inside of my piece. Now, here's a step that a lot of people forget. You want to remove everything from the wood before you start to paint. So since I washed this with White Lightning, I'm going to give it a little spray with water. All that's in my little misting bottle is H2O, and I'm just gonna wipe it down with water. All right? So that is as simple as it takes to clean your piece of furniture. Now, I know by the way I can look at something, because I've done this for so many years now, if a piece is going to be a bleeder. Have you heard of a project called a bleeder? When somebody in the furniture business says, oh, this piece is bleeding, they don't mean blood, obviously. They mean tannins. Old antique and vintage wood sometimes leaches tannins out of the wood through the stain, and sometimes even the stain leaches tannins and onto your paint, okay? From cleaning this piece right here and not seeing any red on my towel and not seeing any real heavy yellow or anything pulling out, this tells me this piece probably doesn't have tannins that will bleed through. It is a little shiny, and if you like, I can bring you in even closer so you can get a closer look. I believe that this piece probably was purchased as an unfinished, unstained item. Somebody stained it themselves. I can kind of see some little swirls from a sander on here, and there's a little bit of some old like nail polish on here. I don't think that this piece is going to bleed. Is it shiny? A tiny bit. So you have a couple options here. You could do something that I like to call a scuff sand, okay? And when I say scuff sand, I just mean any sandpaper and just rough it up a little bit. By doing that, and then just wiping off your excess, this surface is pretty darn ready for paint. I could paint on this and feel confident that my paint would stick. But I'm going to be applying decoupage paper to the drawer fronts, right? And when I apply decoupage paper, I use a satin clear coat as my medium to stick that paper on. Sometimes when you use a lot of water, and these being water-based products, you might find stains coming through your paper. I don't want that. I don't want any kind of stains. I want to make this job as fast and easy as possible. So normally, if you think that you're not going to worry about stains, you can scuff sand like I did and go ahead and paint right over top of it. If you feel more confident using a sanding machine like your Surf Prep sander or a sander like a mouse sander just to scuff it up, that's all good stuff too. Totally do it. For this project, since I'm going to be using a decoupage paper and light color paint, right? This is the color I'm going for, a fairly light color paint. I'm going to add an extra step in my prep. Okay, so Bonding Boss is Dixie Belle's two products. It used to be called Slick Stick and Boss, pushed together into one, okay? You used to have to go look at this and think, oh, is it shiny? Should I use Slick Stick or is it gonna bleed? Should I use Boss? They've eliminated the problem. I use this on almost every single thing that I paint. Do I have to? No, but is it kind of like good practice? Sure is, especially since I'm painting here inside my dining room, aka my studio now, where I don't really want to do a ton of sanding. I don't want that dirt to get in the air, so I would most likely put Bonding Boss on this. Not gonna lie, almost every single piece. So this is Bonding Boss in gray, all right? Gray Bonding Boss is one of my favorites because the gray pigment in this Bonding Boss allows you to use colors that are bright, like red or yellow or pink, and use less amounts of paint because the gray just helps you get that paint on. If I were to use white, it's almost too bright and you're going to use more paint. If I were to use clear, you can sand back and see the edges, but my best friend is Bonding Boss in gray. It's the one that I use most often. It's the one that I like for all of my projects. You can tell how well I love this product because, hello, look at the jar. So I will, for this piece of furniture, apply 2 even coats of Bonding Boss to this project. There are some rules for this problem solver. There's some rules that you need to follow in order to make sure that this is going to work to the best of its ability. And if you skip these rules, you take the chance that it might not work as well as it's supposed to. Number 1, clean your piece with White Lightning, rinse with water. Number 2, apply 1 even coat of Bonding Boss, however you like. Some people like a ruler, some people like a brush. I like a smooth foam roller. It's fast, it's easy, and I throw it in the trash when I'm done. After your first coat is on, you need to wait approximately 2 to 4 hours before coming in and applying your second coat. Why? Why are we waiting? Well, you're waiting because you really want that first coat to get on there, harden, and cure up. You don't want to come back in and apply another coat and then it's not going to dry the way that it should. The rules are, you know, apply this. You can add as many coats as you like. Is it still bleeding? Is tannins coming through? And you're like, oh, I need a third coat. Sure, go for it. Not a problem. But you need to have that time frame in between coats of Bonding Boss. Then the most important thing is to wait 24 hours before you paint. If you don't wait 24 hours before you paint, this is not going to dry and cure and harden, and it's not going to be able to do the job that it's supposed to do. So I will, and I mean, I technically could do this right now and show you, but I haven't cleaned the rest of my piece or taken the other knobs off, so I'm not going to put it down. I'm going to apply 2 even coats using a foam roller. These come in a set of 2 for your refills. Dixie Belle sells a roller kit just like this, where you have a tiny little roller, perfect size. I just put that little foam roller on, and then I would just obviously take my product and apply it to my piece. The foam roller is nice too because it gives you a nice even finish. Sometimes the Bonding Boss is a little thick. Can you see how it's a little thicker? A little viscous in there, right? So it's just nice to have this roller to get that nice thin coat on. Wait the 2 to 4 hours, come back in, do the second coat. And then after waiting 24 hours, your yard sale $20 piece is ready for whatever color you choose. Yay! That was a lot of work. Did you know that that much prep work goes in behind every single piece of furniture? usually more, because I tend to buy the pieces that are the ugly ducklings or the severely damaged that nobody else wants. So if I were a brand new beginner painter and I was wondering how to paint my project, this is the video that I would watch. I would clean with white lightning. I would make sure to do any necessary repairs so that when you do paint, your paint isn't going to scratch off from wood on wood. And I would make sure to use Bonding Boss in gray. Remember, I have 2 tiny holes up here from using my nail gun to push that top down. And those are easily filled in with Dixie Belle's mud. Dixie Belle's mud could also be filled in for these holes if you decided to change the hardware. Now I'm tired. How do we feel about that? Do you think that you learned something today? I hope that this helped you on your painting journey. We technically didn't do any painting, but this is all the work that happens before the magic happens. It has to happen. If you don't do this proper prep, you take the risk of painting over top of dirt or oil that you didn't know was there, and your paint could fail. If you didn't take the time to prime with Boss and you used a lot of water when you were applying your decoupage paper, it could bleed right through and onto your paper. And that would be super sad because you just spent all of this time and all of this money to put the effort forth and make this piece fabulous. So proper prep is not a bad 4-letter word. It's a good 4-letter word, and everybody needs to learn how to do it. As always, if you have questions, drop them in below. This video will be transformed and sent over to my YouTube channel, where you can follow me at the Top Drawer RVA across all social media platforms, and I am always learning and answering questions. Let's see. Okay, so somebody's asking where can they find them. In this video itself, there's a description with a link. That link is actually an affiliate link. What an affiliate link does is it helps support me and my family. If you click that link, I earn a percentage of the sale. It's nothing added, nothing extra. I just get a partial portion, which allows me to keep doing this and keep bringing you all these fun and fantastic videos. And sometimes we do wild and crazy things, but today was boring prep work that everybody has to do. Wah, wah, wah. But let me tell you, if you do it and you do it often enough, it just becomes part of your routine where you get used to doing it. And then, you know, once you get good at it, you can start tackling those projects that are super, super hard. I am not afraid of any kind of furniture anymore. I am not afraid of power tools anymore. I am not afraid of taking something that's almost being deconstructed and putting it back together again. I actually get a kick out of it, and I think it's kind of fun to bring stuff back to life after it's being thrown in the trash, because why not? Somebody else's garbage is going to be my treasure, and I can teach you along the way all the fun and fabulous things. So that's it. I'm beat. I hope that you had fun today hanging out with me. All these products are linked in the description. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I help people all the time with their furniture painting, and I'm also a social media coach. I'm also able to help you build your brand online, because if you're doing this all the time, why not post it to social media and get paid to do your work there too? It's fantastic. Let me know if you have any questions. I will be back next Wednesday, 3 p.m. Stay tuned. I will get this piece done. Fingers crossed in the next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.